Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Manickam, who is the Director of Portfolio Marketing at Dell Boomi. Hi, how are you?
Doing good, Jessica.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, I was curious because, I talk with a lot of product marketing folks, and your title is actually Product Portfolio Marketing. What does that mean?
It's an evolution that we've seen in the past couple of years. Product marketing itself has been recent, like if you look at the decade of where marketing organizations are. And one of the shifts that we have had within Boomi, the organization that I'm part of, is moving product marketing from marketing into the product organization. So we're tightly integrated with product management, user experience, and the likes. So as the team has been evolving and as my team has grown from a couple team members to now over 12, we are seeing that shift from instead of just thinking about product marketing to actually start thinking about product solutions and industries all in one fold. So this is us bringing the messaging and positioning together for the portfolio that Boomi supports.
Okay. So portfolio is now the trend that you're seeing. Okay. So explain a little bit about what Boomi does, because I know Dell Technologies is a well-known brand, but you are a subsidiary of Dell. What is it that you offer?
Definitely. So Dell Technologies, Boomi was acquired by Dell Technologies in 2010. And the role that Boomi plays in the broader Dell Technologies ecosystem is playing as that cloud integration, as a data integration layer.
Okay.
And the value that over 9,000 customers are seeing today with Boomi is being able to easily and quickly unify all their digital ecosystem, whether you're thinking about applications, data, processes, and even people, because we see the value of people into that equation as a big component to how we differentiate ourselves in the market.
Okay, all right. Now I understand. Integration platform as a service, iPaaS. Okay, yes, I get that. And that's very important because there's so much data now, but everybody's looking for the insights to actually do something with that data, right?
Yeah, and you can have data sitting in different silos, whether it's sitting on-premise, in the cloud, with all the SaaS applications that are there. But the reality is, our customers and a lot of other customers out there in the market are looking for solutions where they can tie the legacy infrastructure and actually help bridge the gap between the old and the new. And that's where Boomi has been seeing value and where our customers are actually leveraging us to bring those accelerated business outcomes.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about your domain expertise, the portfolio marketing. How do you manage the team in terms of their career growth, in terms of meeting key metrics? What are some of the best practices you like to share?
For sure, and this was something I think you learn best by doing. When I took on the role as a leader, I had a mix of team members, some who were junior, some who were very senior, and I had to look at a spectrum between folks who had over 5 years of experience to folks who had over 20 years of experience. And I needed to come up with a system, not just as part of performance reviews, but actually as part of their career growth, because the company that they're in today is a choice that they made because they've seen some value and they want to contribute. And one of the things that we have seen in our Dell annual results was the team members are not here just for their paychecks. They're here to actually have an impact. And that's also a shift that we've seen in the industry. Traditionally, I'm not saying that people are here only for their paychecks, but then we've actually seen more organizations actually investing in employees because they see that if we invest in employees, then we actually see the return on performance as well. So we have started looking into, let's not just look at performance reviews, but actually look at how do we actually optimize and bring efficiency into teams. So one of the mantras that I go with is high-performing and mindful team, because it's easy for us to think about, okay, it's always about results, but we wanted to shift it to how do we become more objective and metrics-driven. So we introduced the topic around OKRs. And before we brought in OKRs, we also wanted to set some guiding principles on how we hold each other accountable, on how we act.
Let's explain what OKR.
Yeah. So OKRs, I've been in the industry for a while. It's objectives, key results. And what objectives and key results help you to do is bring visibility across the organization of what you're doing, where you're investing your time, and bringing that prioritization and alignment. Because it's easy for teams to work on what they think is important, but if it's not in the best interest of the business, then it doesn't matter where your year went, right? So we wanted to make sure we were bringing OKRs into the model and making sure that we actually have the right metrics to look at it. So we started with 3 objectives. So the first one that we wanted to tie to was the business. How do we align across as one Boomi team?
You mean like a revenue number?
Yeah, like a revenue number that we wanted to bring into. The second that we wanted to look into was employees. So how do we make sure we actually have employee growth and also bring like hiring best practices into the fold. And then the third one that we wanted to look at was the customer. So how are we actually helping position Boomi in light of what the customer needs are, and are we addressing the needs of the customers? So bringing personas and looking at identifying some of those metrics was important for us.
I see. Okay, these are larger goals that will unify the collaboration between teams to help achieve that goal.
Yep. Like how I see product marketing, it's the linchpin between different organizations. So if you don't have the right message and the positioning, then no matter what marketing execution we are running, it will have its gaps. And so we wanted to make sure that we are giving the right positioning and messaging as well, but also making sure that we are addressing the right pain points and the right personas that we need. Because if you don't look at the right personas, you can say that your company solves everybody's problems, but then the reality is that that's not easy for us to focus as an organization. So we wanted to make sure we made that shift in the organization as well.
Yes, that's true. I mean, being a lot more focused in your target and having to walk away when it's not really ideal and just concentrating on the ones that matter will give you a greater outcome. But actually, the discipline of doing that is the challenge.
Yes,
right? Everyone wants that.
Everybody says we want to focus, and every year, like early this year, we had our retro of how did last year go. And one of the big things, and I still have it up on a post-it note, is say no to things. Because it's easy for us to say yes, and product marketing is in a discipline where nobody knows what product marketing does, but they assume that there is a lot that product marketing can do. And so if there isn't anybody in the organization doing it, it falls up into product marketing. And it's a plus and a minus, because you, as a product marketer, you actually have the skill sets to move from one project to the other and actually take the responsibility to yourself and hold yourself accountable for the success, whether there are different moving parts or whether there are different teams. And so that's the good and the bad, I would say. But it's an opportunity for us to grow there. Yeah.
Okay, talking about grow, let's have this segment on the career growth, because I know that you had shared with me a template, which I think is fantastic. The template, the acronym is GROW, G-R-O-W. You want to explain how you use that for your team and yourself?
Yeah. One of the things when I took on the leader role and being a first-time leader, it was daunting because I didn't know how I could help my team, because what we do is very fluid. There isn't revenue numbers or specific things that you could tie to each of our day-to-day actions. So GROW was something that we learned as part of our leadership training in Dell. And as I came across from that leadership training, I think that's the only one thing that I took away and said, if I had to do one, that would be the one thing I would do. So GROW stands for goal, reality, options, and will.
Grow,
reality, options, and will.
And will.
Yep.
Okay.
So goal basically says, what is it you want to do?
Right.
So it's a simple template, and it's also something that I've been socializing within the organization. So simple template where goal basically talks about what is it you want to do. Options, reality talks about where are you today, if that's the goal that you want to achieve. Then where are you today? And options talks about what are the things we could do to get you there. And then will is about holding that individual accountable to make sure that it's not like I'm a coach as part of that grow conversation. I'm not the one leading it. It's the individual leading that effort.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that they have the will to take it forward.
Right.
So that's the way we look at it.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And
it's a simple framework, but it's really valuable. And what I have been able to do in the past couple of quarters is every quarter we have a check-in. so that when it is time for performance review, it's not a surprise of how an individual is doing, what their expectations are. So it takes away the discussion away from the performance review and actually helping that individual kind of grow in their career. And we look at not just tying it to what's next in Boomi, we also look at it as your overarching career growth. So some of the things that we are doing is making sure that the team is actually learning the best practices from the industry. So product marketing, we have the team actually certified on pragmatic marketing. We are actually going to be at an event in the next month called the Product Marketing Summit. So we want to make sure that we are involved in the community to learn best practices and also share best practices. So a lot about the portfolio marketing and the evolution will also be something we'll be sharing there.
I think it's great that this template you use not only for your team to help them grow, but that you did it for yourself and then brought it to your manager. So, I mean, that's a great tip, right? It's like be proactive, use the template for yourself, and it's not just the team you're managing, but for yourself, and share that with your mentor or your manager.
So our my manager, the chief product officer, he's been very open to giving us the challenges, and I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that I've had in Boomi because of our CPO, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't taken up some initiatives myself. But it's also making sure that you have a support system to help you there. So initially, when I came up with the Grow model, if I had to try it out with the team, I also wanted to make sure that I brought that over to my manager. And it was important for me to kind of bring that forward because my career aspirations are also something that shouldn't be part of a performance review. It should be an ongoing conversation. So something that we definitely look to on a quarterly basis have that discussion.
And do you envision that template being adapted by other team members
eventually?
Across the company?
Yeah, eventually. So as part of mentorship in Boomi, we have a young professionals group in Boomi as well. And I had shared the same template with the group. And this is something that I think across we are starting to see more traction, and I've had folks reach out to me. I've actually hired 2 team members because I knew them because they were part of a different team. But I shared the Grow model and said, hey, let's actually sit down and talk about where you want your career to be. And it ended up being that they were interested in joining my team. And I think that was a blessing in disguise for me, so kind of bringing them on.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for you? What's exciting ahead?
Well, I think the September conference is something that I'm looking forward to. I think there's a lot that we can see in product marketing, the evolution that we have seen. We are also expecting to see a shift in how product marketing is initially considered. Initially, it was always part of the marketing organization, and having that shift as part of product organization, I think, is something that I would encourage all teams to kind of think about, because it has helped us with better alignment with our product management team, and being part of an organization, kind of helping with that messaging and positioning, and then allowing the marketing organization to kind of be the execution engine behind it was very valuable for us. And I would love to kind of hear from the audience too, if they see it otherwise, or if there are other best practices that they have seen in the industry.
Great. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing the Grow model, talking about OKR and this shift from marketing to product management now, the role of product portfolio marketing. It's been a pleasure to have you, Div.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure myself.
There you have it, folks. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Div Manickam from Dell Boomi.
Thank you, Jessica.